Central Baltic program is producing series of videos for cost eligibility. This video is about public procurement. Firstly, Sana will shortly introduce program guidance. Then we will explore more concrete cases and questions which we receive from project partners.
Public procurement rules apply to budget lines, external expertise and services, equipment and infrastructure and works. In general, the public procurement refers to procurements done by the municipal organizations or state institutions and universities. However, in the context of a Central Baltic project, public procurement refers to purchases of goods, services and works by any project partner, public or private. The status of the partner doesn't matter in the project. The explanation for that is that we are using public funds. Therefore, all the procurements in the project are public procurements. If you are not from the public organization, you need to keep this in mind extra carefully. This is an extremely important principle in our program. Our program covers 4 countries and procurement rules slightly varies depending on country. All organizations also have their own practices. Apart from the requirement to follow EU and national procurement rules, the program has one rule in relation to public procurement for costs that are estimated to exceed 5,000 euros. The rule is a requirement for price comparison, and it means that for the purchase costing 5,000 euros or more, a price comparison is mandatory. The comparison must be documented. Typically, at least 3 comparable offers must be requested so that at least 2 offers can be received. In practice, even if you have the estimated cost close to 5,000 euros, we strictly recommend you making a price comparison. Because if you end up spending more than 5,000 euros, the exceeding amount will not be eligible and will be cut. And this is not a theoretical recommendation. We've had such cases when we had to make cuts. In some cases, information may be available online, such as a price list. If you use information on websites for making a price comparison, you need to make sure that the available price list can actually be compared, and you must document this clearly and in a transparent way. The price list might work well for simple items like furniture, phones and other equipment and meals prices in a restaurant, but usually do not for most of the services.
Does the price limit of 5,000 euro include also value-added tax?
The limit of 5,000 euros is either with or without value-added tax, VAT, depending if the VAT is a cost for the project. In case a partner can recover VAT, then this 5,000 euro limit applies to the price excluding VAT. And if the partner cannot recover VAT, then this 5,000 euro limit applies to the price including VAT.
Is a price comparison needed if there is a service provider having unique skills and project would like to use the service?
If the service represents unique skills or no other options are available elsewhere in the market, it may not be possible to make price comparison. This must be documented in a detailed way to provide that the service couldn't have been bought from another supplier. These cases are extremely rare and exceptional, as usually there are options available. The European single market is rather large.
The program manual says that framework contracts can be used. What does it mean?
For organizations who are under the public procurement law, framework contracts can be used. This is the case when partner organization has procured a certain purchase of service or equipment and the project partner has a need for the same type of purchase. The project partner does not need to organize a public procurement, but can arrange the purchase within the existing framework contract. One example is printing services. I would like to highlight that the framework contracts may not automatically apply. The original contract must be worded so that it allows for project work either directly or indirectly. For example, we needed to make a procurement for first level control for the program, as the contract that our host organization had with the audit company didn't refer to us, and our part of the work was too considerable to add to the contract. So basically, the work that your project needs must be clearly in line with the framework agreement, and it cannot alter the scope of the contract considerably, neither in size nor type of work. In order to make use of a framework contract, keep in mind 4 rules. First, the service must be the same which is used under the framework contract, and the provisions of the contract must allow to make an additional order for the project. Second, there should be a separate order of written agreement indicating what kind of service or purchase is needed and in which extent or amount. Additionally, the amount to be paid as well as reference to the project, meaning project name, is needed in this order. Third, it is preferable to have a separate invoice having reference to the project. If that is not possible, the service or purchase amount of project must be easily identifiable in a common invoice. And then fourth, depending on the service, the deliverable should contain EU and program logos and a textual reference, if relevant, if it's, for example, a printed project material. There are 3 very common mistakes. First, using wrong procedure. Sometimes, instead of a national procedure, the EU-wide procedure would have been the correct one. But much more common is that the price of the service or equipment is about 5,000 euros, but the required price comparison is not available. Second, artificial split of the purchase of services. It is the cumulative amount that counts and type of service that is crucial when deciding which procedure to follow. You know your budget, which is your estimation for how much you plan to use for some purchase. If the total budget for example, publication or a study is 10,000 euros, then you need to at least to have the price comparison if the threshold for national procedure is about 10,000 euros, or go for national procedure if that is the case. Third type of a mistake is conflict of interest.
We have had several cases of conflict of interest in projects. In the results cards for projects we made. Sana, could you tell how to avoid conflict of interest?
Per definition, a conflict of interest occurs when a person cannot make an impartial, objective decision on the purchase of goods and services because of family reasons, economic or any other direct or indirect personal interests. For example, if you need an external service in project, you do not buy it directly from your acquaintance or family member or from the company you used to work with. It is of importance that you have a transparent and documented selection process to avoid conflict of interest. Furthermore, a CEO or a staff member of a partner organization or associated partner cannot provide external services, such as consultations, through own company for the other project partners, even in cases when these persons do not report staff costs. Keep in mind that all purchases must comply with the basic principles of transparency, and all costs must be free from conflict of interest.
Public procurement seems to be complicated. What would you suggest to a project employee who has to make a public procurement but do not have any previous experience in doing so?
I would suggest getting as much expertise as possible from your organization. If you are not sure about some aspect of public procurement, you can also contact your first level controller for advice. Also, several countries have national procurement experts and service offices that can be consulted. Please note that the program has just one principle, which is that all purchases by all partners are considered public procurements in the project context. And one program rule, which is the requirement for price comparison when it comes to budget line external expertise and services, equipment, as well as infrastructure and works. Therefore, we don't offer consultations on your specific procurement cases. We just can advise you to remember sound financial management, price comparisons, and to follow national, EU, and institutional rules.
Sometimes projects have joint deliverables, studies, analysis, promotional materials planned in the application form. Is a joint procurement possible in such cases?
Yes, it is possible to have joint procurement if one of the partners is carrying out the procurement process for the others. Another example would be if partnership needs to buy same or similar equipment and it's more cost effective to buy from one company. Additionally, a set of trainings when budget is split among several partners, although the idea is that it is bought from one service provider, can be a reason to carry out joint procurement. Joint procurement means that one partner is responsible for carrying out the procurement. As a result of the procurement, there is a contract between all the partners and the invoices go to different partners from this one service provider. Splitting of invoices is not eligible. In the case of joint procurement, I strongly recommend consulting a procurement expert if in your organization, especially if the total value of the purchase is over the national or EU thresholds.
To summarize, the key principle is that all partner organizations, both public and private, have to follow public procurement rules. There is one program rule, 5,000 threshold for price comparison. Cumulative amounts count when defining which procedure to follow. Framework contracts can be used if the same type of service is needed and there is a clear link to project. Joint procurements are possible, but all partners need to receive separate invoices. Use advice of public procurement expert whenever needed.